Hey guys, Joyetech sent us some Ego Aios, the 10th anniversary.
Out this door,
We've
are
opened 3 of the 4, and you know what? I'm really freaking impressed. We were selling some before. This is the box. You get the point. So I'm gonna get this shit out of your way so you can actually see me. But so we got 4 of these from Joyetech. They are the 10th anniversary, and I do have to say thank you so much, Joyetech, for choosing me to do some of these reviews for you guys. I have had a couple of fans on YouTube that have thanked me for letting them know what's good and what's not. I just did the review on the Taros, and it wasn't so great. It's another pod system, and I mean, I've been having real issues with pod systems. I didn't like it. But, I digress. This is not a pod system, but it is a smaller mouth-to-lung style vape. We were selling the Ego Aio probably a year ago or whenever it came out. The first couple that we sold were really great. We did sell probably 50 of them, and I had about 4 or 5 people come back. Oh, and Brandy actually used the Ego Aio to quit smoking. That was like her device that worked for her. That's the one that she enjoyed the most. The draw on it was nice. She enjoyed it thoroughly all around, and that's what finally got her to quit smoking. So, like I said, we sold about 50 of them, and we had about maybe 3 or 4 people come in complaining about them, including Brandy too. She had the same complaints. Some of these coils were just spitting hot lava into her mouth and into our customers' mouths, and I had a girl come in that had a big blister on her tongue. So we replaced the device with something else, and we stopped selling the Ego Aios. So I was a little bit concerned about the Ego Aios and how they were going to be. So I opened one up cautiously. I filled it up with like a 9 milligram. No, I filled it up with a 6 milligram, 50-50, because I'm not really a salt Nick type user. And I vaped it. And like I said, I vaped it a little bit cautiously. And I ended up having to go out for the day. Not for the day, but for a couple of hours, and I took it with me, and it was pretty satisfying. I'm a 3 milligram user. The coil that it comes with 2 coils. They're both 0.6 ohm coils. But with the coil it came with, I could probably use a 9 milligram. I'm not like a mouth-to-lung inhaler. I like hot, heavy, hard-hitting builds. So 6 milligram wasn't quite enough for me, but it did the trick. I'm going to load this one up with a 9 milligram. I'm going to let Brandy choose the flavor in a 50-50, and we're going to vape it again. But I was super impressed. I don't know if they've changed their coils. I don't know if they've used different cotton, different amounts. Maybe they've obviously gotten better at stuff. We're really kind of big fans of Joyetech, and they've been doing things right lately. I really enjoy their stuff. So, without further ado, let's open this package up, and I'm gonna get Brandy to take everybody for a tour in the back and choose a 50-50 and a 9 milligram, and I'm gonna fill this up.
We get to go to the back.
Yeah, so
Who has been in the back?
there's the package. Like I said, lots of thanks go out to Joyetech for letting us sample these guys. It does say first sample use only. I gave one away to one of our customers that was a little bit down on his luck. It was in between pay periods, and he had lost or broken his Aspire Breeze and couldn't afford to buy another one right away. But it's funny how some people say that they can't afford to buy things, but they're willing to go and spend money on a package of cigarettes. Granted, a package of cigarettes in our neighborhood for a fancy pack or one of the name brand packs is probably around $13, and it's a lot cheaper than buying a device. But I couldn't let that happen, so I gave one away. He enjoys it. He shot me a message the other day saying, like, you know, I really like my Breeze, but this Ego Aio is really hitting the spot. So good work, Joyetech. So There's a little sleeve on there with some information on the back and all of their social media stuff. There's a box and a little warranty card. I bet. Attention, please drip at least 5 drops of e-juice to the atomizer head before its first use to avoid any dry burn. And I recommend that too. In order to avoid overflow when reassembled, please don't overfill, which you can refer to the picture below. So there's like a max fill line. And after e-juice filling and assembly, please vape a few times in power off condition with airflow widely open to avoid dry burn. You know what, that's some decent information right there. I do things a little bit differently, but for the users that's just gonna go into a store, the store's gonna say, here you go, that'll be such and such dollars, and see you later, and leave people to deal with it on their own. There's some decent information. This is kind of, I know that Brandy doesn't like red, but the black one had these kind of designs and stuff all over it too, and then the max fill line there was almost impossible to see. So I don't really like the black one. You can kind of see it in the picture. That's one of the ones that I gave away. Also, another friend of mine too ended up selling his mouth-to-lung device and stuff. Had some shit going on and was deviceless. He was doing fairly well with the not smoking thing, but I didn't want to see him go down that road, so I also gave him the black one and specifically pointed out that max fill line and said, you know, be careful not to overfill it, because if you go any higher on the max than the max fill line, you're gonna have juice go all over the place. So these guys are like a child-proof. So once it's nice and tight, you can turn the top and it won't open. You have to push down and turn to open it up. Brandy's chosen Sneaky Peewee. It's a peach and kiwi with some creams and stuff. We're gonna try oh, this is a 6.
Yeah.
I did a 6 last time, and I figured that I could probably use a 9. Would you?
That's mine.
What? But oh.
Put a 6 in. You're fine.
She's the boss.
Actually.
What?
I have a. Oh, I gave it to your mom. Never mind.
No salt Nick?
No.
Yeah, I don't like salt Nick. She's a little better with it too, but she doesn't super enjoy it either. Anyways, so Sneaky Peewee, peach and kiwi. This is a 50-50 we're gonna put in there. And so inside this little box, there's another box and some more information. There is a lot of different languages. This was fun for me, actually. I did this last time. So it's in English, French, Dutch, and I'm sorry. I am completely ignorant, but it looks like it says Pikachu to me. Someone told me it was Russian, but P-Y-C-C-K-U-U, Pikachu, in my mind. Anyways, whole bunch of information. I'm not going to try and fold that back up. Box within a box. Inside this box, couple of different things. Extra drip tip. This one's like the drip tip that's like see-through.
So much fun, Margot. Going across the states and seeing
The
things.
drip tip that comes with it, they actually redesigned this one too, which is really stuck in there, but take my word for it. You might be able to see it. It's got kind of a swirl or a spiral thing. They had those in the original Ego Aios as well, but this one seems to be a little bit different in the spiral, and maybe that helps to reduce the amount of spitback that you get. But anyhow, also comes with 2 coils. Both of them are 0.6.
And Dylan was like, I don't want no free couch. It's
0.6
so gross.
stainless steel 316, 15 to 28 watts.
Just up the road.
Just throw that around a little bit. So like the instructions said,
Green.
we're gonna open up the juice
and blue. But,
and we're gonna drop just a couple of drops down the center.
it's so comfortable.
And for the record,
it's almost comfier than
every coil requires a little bit of priming. If you prime it up and wait for it to soak in a little bit, I just put a couple of drops down the barrel. Some coils are bigger, some coils are smaller, some require a little bit more and a little bit less. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think that it's really important that you prime the hell out of your coils. Even if you get a little bit of juice running out the bottom, or if you get a little bit of a gurgliness once you've loaded up that coil, it's better than getting a dry hit right away. If you get a dry hit because you didn't prime enough, Your coil's going to be garbage and you're going to have to buy a new one or go back to the store or use the extra one that comes with this pack, or if you don't have any more, you're screwed. Once it's burnt, it's burnt. So, a couple of drops. I see that it soaked it right up right away. Gotta be attractive, you know? I gotta be like
The showman.
the showman. Otherwise, people are gonna look at my boring ass fucking review. Damn, I was trying not to swear.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
just
people
like-
are gonna watch
just
my
like
boring
I'm being
reviews
boring right now on my live Facebook.
and stop watching halfway through. But anyways, so that's 2 drops. That's 4 drops. I'm gonna put another
Chris is,
couple in there.
concocting- I actually
right down the
think
barrel.
Chris is working on a tobacco.
I'm gonna try and over prime it a little bit because I'd rather over prime it than under prime it. Therefore, I get good life out of my coils and they don't just burn up right away. So there's 6 drops, and I'm gonna push my luck and go 8 drops. After that, this little top cap that I removed screws onto the bottom. The wife is live on Facebook right now, throwing me off. I'll get rid of this little hair. Make sure she's snuggled up in there, and that's how it looks when it's ready to go. So there is a little O-ring in here. Just kind of screw it in until you can't see that O-ring anymore, and then you know that it's not going to leak. So we'll set that aside for a second, and then remember, max fill line. We're going to fill her up. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. I might have even overfilled it a little bit, but there's the max fill line and there's the line of juice. I think we should be okay. And then when you go to plunge this guy in there, it's going to increase the volume space of the juice, or however you want to say it. And push down, turn, lock it into place. And then up top, they also improved the airflow settings. So, whereas before, let me move this light so that maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. There's a bunch of little detents all the way around here, but if you notice, this one is a little arrow, and then there's a little dot up there. So this lined up. On the old Ego Aio, you really couldn't frickin' tell where the airflow was and stuff. So now, arrow lined up with the dot means that it's wide open, and then if you just adjust it a little bit to the side, then you can tighten up the draw. So without pressing the button, it's a pretty tight draw. It's what I would call a mouth to lung inhale. But as you turn that just a little bit, it tightens up a little bit more.
I need to figure out what's going on with it.
So you can get it nice and tight, similar to the way a cigarette would be, right? Almost closed, right? So anyhow, there's also this little rubber, so I don't know if you want to like share it with a friend or whatever. The other thing that I think it might be for is to reduce the inside diameter of this strip tip. And of course you can pull this strip tip out. It's really tight from the factory, so I'm just kind of leaving it in there. I could probably, fuck it, for the purposes of review, I'll rip it out of there. So you can replace that with something that's flat or a little bit tighter draw, or something that doesn't have that weird like spiral thing in there. And I think, like I say, I think that's for spit back. And then this little rubber guy has a little bit smaller inside diameter again, so you can put that on there, and it may change your experience a little bit, and you can take that off and clean it. So if you're one of those people that gets a lot of that lip gunky stuff on there, you can mitigate that a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Anyhow, so similar to every other device out there, or mostly every other device out there, this fire button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times quick, and you're gonna see those little lights come on. Let's get a little dark. I'm gonna turn off my lights in here and see if you guys can see that. The wife's got the outside open, but there is a light that shows up in there. You can see it. So if you 5 times fast, turn it back off, it blinks a bunch of times. Now with the device off, if you press and hold this fire button, now the light comes on. If you press it again, it'll turn it off. There's a blue light, there's a green light, there's a bunch of different colored lights that you can go through and kind of customize it a little bit. I'm not big on red, and the wife isn't either, so I'm going to go back to Oh, there's like a yellow, and there's blue. So, wait for it to time out. The light will turn off in a couple of seconds, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times turns it back on. So I'm gonna go back to wide open airflow and have a little toot. Oh, look at that. So I was saying that the other 3 devices were really nice and impressive. Now I don't know if it was the paint, the way the button is put together, but I did have a little bit of an auto fire issue. It just stuck. Maybe it was a fluke, maybe it wasn't, but this is straight out of the box. I'm showing you guys what it's like. The old Ego Aios were a little bit more squared off. It kind of came up and was square, and it was square on the bottom. This one's got some beveled edges, top and bottom. But let's it's a decent amount of vapor. I've got a 6 milligram in here. Like I said, I would have probably gone up to a 9. Get a little bit more of that throat hit and stuff. But the wife wants this device, although it is red. Something says that she's going to be getting out the paint sticks or something here and painting them up. I don't know. Anyway, all in all, I don't know, maybe there was a piece of paint or something in there, or maybe it was the way that I fired it, but I can't seem to make it auto fire again. Well, let's try for a little bit more of a mouth to lung. That's a tight draw. There's the throat hit. It's a little bit better. If that's what you're into, I'm not a huge throat hit guy. Little ghost. Do a little ghost action. Anyhow, that's the Joyetech Ego Aio, and they're calling it Ego Aio 2. And it's the 10th anniversary edition. See if I can pinch it off a little bit more. That's about as tight as it gets. Now granted, it's been a little bit since I've had a cigarette, but that's pretty close to how I remember a cigarette being. It's not a bad little device. It's not going to be the most flavorful device in the whole world. We're also going through a bit of a break-in period with these brand new coils. You get a little bit of a cotton taste and stuff, but that's generally the same with all coils. I don't get that kind of nasty rubber taste that I do get from some coils that I've tried, but I do get that fresh cotton taste. I'm getting some peach, I'm getting some kiwi, I'm getting some of the creams and stuff like that that I would expect out of this juice, just on a much lower level than I would expect out of a big fat tube mod like that. Let's try one more thing too. I'm not getting that huge amount of spray that I was getting with the old Ego Aio, which I'm quite happy with, but I'm also going to change to this glass strip tip and see if there's anything different. I'm pretty sure it may just be acrylic. It is just acrylic. It's just a plastic drip tip, nothing too fancy. Double O-ring, so it fits in there nice and tight. It's not going to just fall out, but let's have a little. As I expected, a little bit more airflow with that one because it doesn't have the restriction. And a little bit more flavor. But this is not a cloud chucking device. This would be a great device for someone to start out with. If you were just looking at making the change between vaping, or between smoking and vaping, this would be a great little device. I couldn't imagine them being over, $50-$60 or something like that. Now, don't take my word for it. I didn't do any research on pricing or anything, but I'm sure there's lots of places out there. And just in honor of Joyetech and their 10th anniversary and how I think that these things are performing, so long as this one doesn't auto fire or the button doesn't stick again on me, I think we could probably bring some of these in. be a great little incognito device too. It's not large. I mean, I do have some fairly big hands, but a little bit bigger than the Breeze in terms of height, but much narrower. Maybe the diameter of a nickel, maybe a little bit bigger than a nickel. Oh yeah, they were good enough to send you a charging cable too, and there's a little charge port in the back where you can see the light shining through. You can kind of see the light shining through. This is a little bit darker e-liquid. If it was a little darker in here, you'd be able to see the lights a little better, but I have it on like that dark blue. So I think I've said all I need to say about it. There's a gray, black, they all kind of have this like, I don't know, circuit board type look to them. I think the red is kind of a little flashy for me, but for some of you guys, there's probably a dozen different colors of these things out there. But I'm digging it. It's not bad. If I use this as a backup device when I went out, I would use a 9, and I am a 3 milligram vapor, but I'll give this one to the wife. And if you guys are into the iced type of stuff, all of the, you know, there's a lot of flavors out there that people are enjoying, but they're asking about adding menthol and stuff to it. So right now we're doing a little beta testing on our new flavor Elixir, but we're adding some ice to it. So it'll be a little bit of a minty, menthol-y type flair to it. For the longest time, I wasn't really a menthol type guy, but now I am. It's summertime, it keeps me a little bit cooler. Maybe it makes my brain think that it's a little bit cooler, but that's my typical. I don't typically gravitate towards these, but this is where I started, and that's the most important thing that you guys can do, is to start vaping and try and quit smoking. Even if you supplement a couple of cigarettes a day out of your life by vaping, don't give up. Just because you've tried one device doesn't mean, if you tried a device and it didn't work for you, it doesn't mean that there isn't a device out there. There's been so many people that I walk up to on the street that say, you know, hey, I've tried vaping and it sucked and it didn't taste good and it didn't work and it was just tastes like burning and fire in my mouth and stuff. It's probably because you didn't have a great education from wherever you bought it from, or you ordered it online, or somebody just didn't take the time to show you that there is a difference between vaping like this and vaping like this, right? There is obviously a difference, and whatever way works for you is the way that you should be vaping, right? So I guess that's all for now. I'd like it if you guys would go and check out our website at www.bluevapes.ca or .net. We're working on a new website and a new platform and stuff. Should be out pretty soon, so visit the website now, and within the next week or two, I'm hoping we should have a new platform, make things look a little bit more attractive. And if you guys see anything that you'd like to see changed on there, by all means let us know so that we can make your experience a little bit better. Or come and visit us in the store here. We're always beta testing some new fluids. We're always looking for new flavors that haven't been touched, which is pretty impossible considering all of the wonderful manufacturers that are out there. Blue Vapes is trying hard to please everybody, but everybody knows that that's not possible. So thanks, Blue Crew, and see you again soon. I'm gonna try and keep these reviews coming. And I don't know, do you guys think that I should do some reviews on our own e-liquid, or is that just dirty pool? I mean, I don't particularly like Sneaky Peewee. I love peaches, I love kiwi, but there's something about this liquid that I don't particularly like myself. The wife loves it. I don't particularly like coconut nut, chocolate vanilla coconut. It sounds good, but I don't like vaping it. In here we've got the iced elixir, which is nectarine and pineapple, and that seems to be tickling me just right. So everybody is so very different, and just because you've tried a flavor and not liked it doesn't mean there's not a flavor out there that you will enjoy. All right, I hope I've answered some questions and given you guys some insight, but bye-bye for now.